So, have you ever stopped to wonder what happens to those amazing scientific breakthroughs after they've had their moment in the headlines? Today, we're going to dive into a new kind of workflow that's designed to get those discoveries out of the lab and into the real world way faster.
It's a pretty frustrating question, right? Because we know that incredible, groundbreaking research is happening all the time, but so often it feels like it just disappears. It vanishes before it ever gets the chance to really make a difference.
Well, in the world of innovation, there's actually a name for that place, that gap where all these promising ideas just seem to fall off a cliff. It's a notorious and, frankly, an infuriatingly common problem.
Okay, so picture this. Think of it like a giant deep canyon. Over on one side, you've got this brilliant peer-reviewed scientific paper, and way over on the other side, you've got a real solution that people can actually use. But in between, that's the valley of death, where science gets stuck, basically starving for the resources it needs to make that huge leap.
And this just perfectly illustrates how massive this problem is. On average, it takes 17 years, yeah, you heard that right, 17, for new clinical evidence to find its way into everyday medical practice. Just think about all the progress, all the impact that's lost in that time. It's staggering.
So obviously, the big question is, how do you fix that? How do you build a bridge across that valley? How do you create a direct path from that amazing discovery all the way to its deployment out in the world?
Well, the answer starts with a whole new mindset. You have to stop treating science like it's some dusty old book on a shelf. Instead, this new approach uses scientific data as a living, breathing blueprint for action. It creates a direct pipeline between the researchers who are making the discoveries and the teams on the ground who are actually building the solutions.
This whole thing is powered by what we can call the science-to-solution engine. So let's pop the hood and take a look at how this thing actually works to push ideas forward with both speed and a real sense of purpose.
This table right here really lays it all out. The difference is just night and day. Look at the traditional path. A discovery gets published, then archived. Poof, gone. But in this new model, it's immediately mapped to a real project. Those slow, painful multi-year grant applications, they get replaced by a real-time funding gauge. And instead of these scattered, disjointed pilot programs, you get integrated teams with a clear finish line. It's a total overhaul of the process.
And this whole engine runs on 4 key principles. You've got validation and de-risking to make sure the science is solid. Structural accountability to keep the projects on track. The main goal is always accelerated impact. But honestly, that last one, radical transparency, that is the absolute game changer, especially for anyone who wants to support this kind of work.
And that brings us to what is maybe the most powerful idea in this whole system. Making progress so visible, so easy to understand that you get it in an instant. And it does this using a really simple but totally brilliant visual metaphor.
You know, if you're a donor, this is probably the question that keeps you up at night. You give your support to a cause you believe in. But how do you really know if your contribution is making a difference? Where's the project right now?
Okay, so imagine, instead of digging through some long, dense report, you just saw this, a simple gas gauge. It gives you this immediate, high-speed understanding of how the project is doing. In just one glance, you know, okay, this project is 65% of the way there, it's in the field testing phase, and it's moving forward. Simple as that.
And then, bam, right next to it, you see another gauge. And this one tells you exactly what's needed to get that project over the finish line. It's not some vague, abstract appeal for more money. It's a specific, measurable, and totally achievable goal.
This completely reframes the whole act of giving, doesn't it? With a model like this, you're not just, donating to a general cause. You are providing the specific, targeted fuel that is needed to complete a scientifically validated mission and turn that paper into something real.
So what does all this transparency, these tools, what does it all mean for you as someone who might want to support this work? Well, it means you can contribute with a completely new level of confidence.
It all comes down to this. It fundamentally de-risks your contribution. As you can see here, traditional giving can often feel like you're just betting on a promising idea, kind of rolling the dice and hoping for the best. This model completely flips that. You are no longer just betting on an idea, you are funding a solution that has already been validated by the scientific community. And here's exactly how that de-risking happens. Step 1. It all starts with peer-reviewed, published research. That's the bedrock of trust. Step 2. That research is then mapped directly onto an active project. Step 3, and this is critical, the original scientists actually stay involved to oversee the work and make sure it's done right. And only then, at Step 4, are donors invited to fund a plan that's already scientifically validated. It's this perfect, closed-loop system that creates real structural accountability.
And that's what it all boils down to. This is what radical transparency actually looks like. It's about showing the mechanics of how change happens, connecting the science directly to the funding goal. There are no black boxes, no leaps of faith, just a clear, transparent, and logical path from a scientific discovery to a real-world solution.
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. Let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just a model for one organization or for one specific field. This could be a blueprint for a whole new era of trust, efficiency, and impact. I mean, just imagine, what other huge, complex problems could we solve if we could all see the progress and the need this clearly?